All right. So stage 4 grammar. Stage 3 grammar. It's about declensions, and declensions involve nouns and adjectives. It's just there are different they're just the different endings of various nouns and adjectives. So I'm going to start with verbs, and this is totally separate. You guys probably already know from your Spanish that verbs get conjugated. So basically, the ending of a verb is determined by what the subject of the sentence is. If it's in the first person, I, second person, you, third person, he, she, or um, it changes the ending of the verb. Now, the same thing kind of occurs with nouns, at least in Latin it does. Nouns and adjectives in Latin get declined. So make sure you take notes on this or write this down. So verbs get conjugated and nouns and adjectives get declined. It's just basically their way of getting conjugated, but it's called declined. So first, there are 3 declensions for a Latin noun and adjective. The first declension is in the nominative is always going to end in what letter do you think? A. And words like ancella and cena, they end in A in the nominative. And in the accusative, these words, these nouns, end in am. So right here I have ancella, which is just slave girl. This would be if the slave girl was doing something, then she'd be in the nominative form. And then if this would be if the slave girl was having something done to her, she's going to be in the accusative form. And she ends in am. And the same goes for dinner right here, cena. Now I'd like you to find either one more. So write down this table and then this graphic organizer. So make this list. And I'd like you to fill in one more first declension noun or adjective that would fill this list. And then now we're going to move on to the second declension. Second declension nouns and adjectives. So they end in us in the nominative. Words like sorvus, filius, argentarius, and they end in in the accusative. So all that happened really is when they go to the accusative, you just slash off the s, whoop, throw it out the door, and then put in an m. So you got sorvum and filium. So fill in one more second declension noun or adjective. An adjective would be even better. And if I were thinking of a second declension adjective, I might think of one that means happy or very happy also works. Third declension nouns and adjectives. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky, but it's not really that hard, because you know that if it doesn't end in the first end in u, if it doesn't end in a in the nominative, or it doesn't end in us in the nominative, then it's going to be third declension. So you can almost do it by process of elimination. Canis ends in is. Mercator ends in r. Leo, which means lion, ends in o. And senex, which means old man, ends in x. So if it ends in is, r, o, or x, X. It's in the nominative third declension. You might be able to even, so I might say, yeah, okay, so we'll look at this one right here. And then the accusative of these ends in EM. So it doesn't end in AM as the first declension did, and it doesn't end in UM as the second declension did. It's going to end in EM. So that is a way in which you'll determine that these are third declension.